Hi everyone, it's Melissa Whitaker, and I wanted to talk with you today about the topic of gratitude. So I know you've probably heard different people speak about this particular topic, and I know that it's something we all, at the core of it, I think we all know that we should be sitting in gratitude, just very thankful every day for the things we do have in our life. But I will say that speaking to many people over the last week, it's pretty common that we get stuck in our day-to-day, even frustrations, right? Maybe we had a large deal that we were going after and we had spent all this time developing and working on, and maybe it pushed later than we had anticipated for it to close. And that can be very stressful. It can be very frustrating. Some of you also say, hey, Melissa, I worked on this really big opportunity and then I found out I did not get it. That can also be very frustrating. I work with sales managers and VPs who are just stressed out and frustrated about hitting targets or working with people on their team who either get it or don't get it or whatever that may be. And what I thought about this morning as I'm dropping my kids off at school is the fact that I've been very intentional recently. I would say, very intentionally, I would say over the last 6 months, 7 months, but even more recently, I've been extremely intentional over the last week or two to make sure that when I wake up in the morning, I take a moment, even through the craziness of our schedule and our life and everything else that's going on, I take a moment to just sit in thankfulness and gratitude about the fact that, my arms and my hands work, that I can do my job and I can type on a computer. I'm thankful that I can walk. I mean, many of you know that this past October, I had knee surgery. And it really knocked me down a bit. I was like, holy cow, right? They explained it to me in a way that seemed like it wasn't a huge, ginormous deal. I tore my meniscus. Actually ruptured my ACL. I should have known better there, right? But when they did the surgery, they said, hey, 45 minutes in and out, you're gonna be in recovery for an hour or two, and then you're going home. Like that was it. But it really knocked me down. And it reminded me as well, over these last even few months, especially when there's times where maybe you have an injury or you don't have full functionality with something that we frankly take for granted on a daily basis, right? So it made me really think. And so the last couple of weeks I thought, gosh, I've just been sitting in gratitude, the fact that I can walk again at ease, and that even though my surgery, which was much more extensive, I mean, they said it's the closest thing to a knee replacement. It wasn't a full knee replacement, but they had to reconstruct my entire ACL around my knee. And it was a big deal, right? It was much larger and much more intense than I had anticipated. But what it brought me to remind me about as well is as I'm talking to different individuals, even over this past 7 days, and how we get caught up in the minutia of each day and the frustration of what's not working in our life, or possibly, an illness, or, just unexpected news. And I reminded some people I was hanging out with, I said, listen, I think we need to remember to be thankful for the little things. Sit in gratitude in the morning, sit in gratitude at night, have a little bit of just quiet time, no matter what that is for you. It could be as simple as 5 minutes. It could be driving in your car alone where there's silence. But take a moment to be thankful for our health or perhaps our children's health. If they're healthy and they don't have to be in the hospital all the time, that's significant. Can you imagine how that would change our life and our world if that was the case? And I have friends who have to go through that, where they have a child or children who are in the hospital on a regular basis. And I see the impact it has on their family. And I have to sit in thankfulness to say, wow, I've got 2 beautiful, amazing young girls who are now 8 and 10. One is almost going to be 11, going on 16. And I have to say, wow, I'm thankful that we have our health, that my husband and I are able to do something that we each love to do, and that we are just thankful for even the simple things, the food on our table, the warm house we get to live in. We live in Wisconsin, so it is like crazy snowing here. We just had over a foot of snow over the weekend, and it is cold, cold, cold this week. So I mean, we're just like thankful we have a warm house. We're thankful that the girls get to go to great schools, and they have amazing teachers and that are just building into them and loving them. And so even in the world we live in, whether it be sales or management or just in general in life, wherever that finds you today or this video finds you, I would just encourage you to sit in some gratitude. I will tell you that the more I've taken the time to sit in a little bit of gratitude, it completely can change and or reset our mindset as well. And you know, if you've worked with me at all at any time, we talk a lot about mindset, the power of mindset, the power of our energy. What kind of energy are we giving off in our day-to-day lives and how we're living and what we're doing? Because what we give off is what we're also attracting. Do you understand what I just said there? So what we give off, we're also attracting to us. So if we're giving off positive energy, we're attracting positive things into our life. If we are giving off frustration and negativity and just anger or pissed off because something's not going our way or whatever, guess what? I hate to break it to you. You are actually repelling good things to come into your life. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me, for our family, for anything like that, right? So there is that concept of the law of energy. And there is a lot of energy that we're transferring on a day-to-day basis, believe it or not. So we want to make sure we're part of that positive energy side, that we're giving and we're also, bringing more light in our daily life, right? Now, it's interesting. I was listening to a podcast this morning. I love the podcast called For the Love of Money with Chris Harder. So here's a little props for you, Chris Harder here. I love your podcast, right? So anyone, again, too, recently who's been working with me knows that I've been listening to this podcast. I encourage you to listen to his podcast as well. So I was listening to one of his things this morning, and it was centered around who's interviewing someone around gratitude and their business and how they had times where they lost everything. They had a lot of money and a lot of fame, and they lost everything, and then they had kind of like their comeback moment, right? And what I loved about what they talked about also with gratitude was also learning how to receive, okay? And I think this is important for us to talk about today before I finish today's session, and this is for everybody out there. Some of us are really good at giving, but we may also not really good at receiving, whether it's receiving compliments, receiving help, asking for help, frankly. I was bad at that. I'm still working on it on a daily basis, right? But one thing they talked about was the power around not only giving, which is amazing, and we should do that and give and sit in gratitude, but also receiving. And there has to be, when we talk about just even the law of energy, it kind of has to go hand in hand, right? Because we're giving and we're actually releasing endorphins when we give. But I didn't really think of it that way, where the guy, when Chris was doing his interview today, and he was saying that by receiving and allowing people to give to us and also asking for help when we need help, we also actually release endorphins around that as well. So it is kind of going hand in hand. And so both things happen, amazing things happen in our lives, in sales, in business, and it's just amazing. It's frankly amazing. And I know I've been working at this diligently for the last year or so, trying to make sure that I'm also more open to the receiving and feeling the power of that and catching myself when I want to be like, oh, no, or thank you, but no, just really taking that in. So that's my point for today. I just want to share a moment of your day to say, sit in some gratitude and not only be a giver and to be a positive energy in the world, but also be willing to receive. And I can tell you that those simple little things you could do today, take a moment while you're listening to the video, maybe just stop this as soon as it's done, take a moment to sit in gratitude. Because there's plenty of things in our life, let's be honest, even through all of our frustrations or frustrating deals or anything we're going through, there's plenty of things in our life that we frankly need to be grateful around. And when you do that, I truly believe amazing things will happen. More sales will come through, more opportunities, more people will be attracted to you, to what you do in your business. And I want that for you. So have a great day. Remember gratitude, giving and receiving, and have a fantastic rest of your week. Talk to you later.